Hey, hi everyone. This is Sai from LetsUpgrade. So let's talk about how to get your certificate. It's very simple. You will see two links in the description. Number one is the place where you have to go and mark your attendance. Marking your attendance tells us like, okay, you are a legit student who have attended this particular session. Link number two is your assignment. This is where your 90% of the priority is. You have to go and submit the assignment that is given to you in this particular session. Once you're done submitting that assignment, we will be evaluating that. We will send you an email. If you get the passing criteria, then only we will give you the certificate on a particular date that is mentioned again in the description. Please check these three things, and this is the way how you will get a certificate from Let's Upgrade. Number one, mark your attendance. Number two, just go ahead and upload your assignment. Check for the email that you have received it, yes or no. What is the feedback that you have received from your trainer? Number three, check on which date the certificates will be released. Thank you. Bye. All the best. Happy learning.
Hi guys, and welcome to the third day of React. And what we are going to do today. Before that, let's first see what we have done in the previous 2 days. Okay, so we have already seen what is Reactjs, what are React components, right? What is JSX, state, prop drilling, and all these things we have already seen, right? Now, today in this video, what we are going to do is list form React lifecycle methods, and we'll try to do it. Um, Event handling also we'll try to see. Okay, and then if time allows us, we will try to build this simple to-do application. Okay, so let's first start with the list and forms. Okay, let's first start with list and forms. Okay, so see, React list. Okay, so let me open again. List in React. Okay, so we'll open documentations only, right? So react.dev. Yeah. So where we have this react.dev. Okay, rendering list. Now, see, whenever we render any kind of list on React page, right? It is very important to understand one concept of keys, right? Keys are very important over there, right? So we'll see that concept, but before that, understand like you often want to display multiple similar components from a collection of data. So see, whenever we are rendering a list, it would be a kind of a similar data, right? It would be a collection of similar types of data, right? If we are rendering a list, so we would be rendering a list of, let's say, students. We would be rendering a list of, let's say, job opportunity or something like that, right? So each and every list would contain similar types of data, right? So you can use JavaScript array methods to manipulate array of data. Okay, fine. On this page, you will use filter and map. Okay, React filter transform the array, something like that. Okay, now see, whenever we have to render a list, what is the syntax? So list is something like this: ul, then li, and then stuff. Okay, so I'll copy this list. I'll copy this list. Okay, so let me open this lu react, go over here, and let us see. Okay, yeah, come on. Yeah. Okay. So this is let's do it over in app.jsx, I guess only. Okay, let's do it in app.jsx. Okay. So over here, what you will see, let's paste that list, right? So I have pasted that list over here. Now, what will happen? See, eventually, if I'm pasting that list and if I'm starting my app, and let me start my app, let me show it to you on the browser. Wait a minute. npm run, no, npm start, sorry, my bad. npm start. Okay, let's do it. Yeah, come on. Huh. So this is the list that we are displaying. It's normal, right? But do you really think that displaying data like this is a good approach? Or is it feasible that you would be displaying data like this? No. Because let's say this is an list of users, right? List of registered users on your portal, right? Suppose this is that list. So now eventually what will happen? You won't be knowing that, okay, how much users are there in your database, how much users are registered, right? Or let's say, for example, if you already know that we have 10 registered users on our portal, right? Now, is it like this that there are at max 10 users that can enroll? No, we can there can be more people who can come and get registered to your portal, right? There can be more people. right? Also, now if some more people comes to your portal, won't you list them? You'll have to list them, right? So what kind of approach do you want to prefer? Do you prefer that, okay, every time you get a register, you get a new user, right? What you will do, you will come to your UI, you will do it like this. You will add that user over here, right? Something like this. One approach is this. Another approach is that we fetch this list directly from the database, right? We'll fetch this list directly from the database, and what will happen is how the number of users that we are getting from database, we will show all those users dynamically, right? This is second approach, that okay, we will fetch it from database using API, and what all list is coming, I will display that list dynamically on my UI, right? This is the second approach. So of course, in industry we prefer second approach, because first approach is not practical actually, right? So what we will do, let's create a list. Const users, comma, set users, which is equals to use state, and the initial state is an empty array, and over here I'll set some users. Okay, I'll set some users. So I'll take object where name would be, let's say, Rishabh, comma, maybe what I can skills, right? Skills, let's say, full stack, maybe full stack developer, right? Likewise, let us add some more, right? Let us add some more data, maybe ABC, right? And its stack is also full stack dev. We have XYZ, right? And its stack is, let's say, front end, right? And front end dev. Okay. Then we have maybe Atul, let's say, I don't know. We have, he's a backend, let's say, right? Then we have, let's say, Rajat, right? And he's, let's say, Angular, or mean stack. Let's do it mean, right? And we have, let's say, Ankit, and he's, let's say, a Mern stack. Okay, so now let's say this is the list, and this list we are fetching from database. Okay, we are fetching this list from API, right? So eventually what will happen? Eventually what will happen? Let me tell you. Eventually this list will be an empty array. This will be something like this, an empty array, right? So this list would be an empty array, and what you will do, so you will call some API. So over here, let's say what you will do, you will call some API, and and we will set users from that we will set users from the data that API is returning, right? So eventually this is what that is going to happen, right? But for now, since we are not making any API, so what we are going to do, we are simply creating a list over here, and we will try to dynamically render this list on the UI part. Okay, so how we can do that? So I'll use this users, because if we are setting this list like this, right? So where you will find, with what variable you will find this list? Okay, so this list is with this users variable, because anything that we put inside this use state will is getting stored as your initial value for this variable, right? So what I will do, I'll copy this users over here, right? And instead of this UL, inside this UL, I will use this users, and I will use a map function, right? So what this map function will do, this map function will return me, right? This map function will return me a li. Okay, so this map function will return me a li. Okay, list item it will return me, right? Now, this map function will take. So this map function will take element, comma, index, id x index, right? And over here, what I will display, I will display ele dot name, right? So if map function is at 0th index, right? If map function is at 0th index, so what we will do, this ele would be this object, right? This ele would be this complete object, right? And what I am trying, I am printing ele dot name, means I am printing Rishabh, right? Now, if map function on the second iteration, the ele would be this object, right? And what we would be doing, ele dot name means ABC will get printed. In third iteration, ele would be this object, and ele dot name would be xyz, right? Similarly, it will go on. Okay. So now let me comment all these. Let me comment all these, right? Let me either remove these, right? Let me remove this. I don't want that, right? Now this is the code, okay, that we have. This is the dynamically rendering of a list. Let's see on the browser. Do you see A, B, C, X, Y, Z? Now let's say if in future we have this data, right? If in future, let's say we have more users registered like this. So if API is getting more users, I don't have to change anything over here. No, it's just no matter how much data is coming from your API, right? This code will handle it. This code will simply display it on the screen, right? Do you see? Now let's say whenever I call the API again, right? We have some more data, let's say, right? So it will be something like this. So more data comes and see more data is displayed, right? So it's like this. Okay, so this is how we dynamically render list elements on the browser. But now if you open the inspect element, you will see a error. Not error, warning. Right? You will see a warning or error, right? It's like each child in the list should have a unique key prop. What does this error says? Actually, it's an error, but it will not affect anything, right? It will be like it's just like React is throwing you an error in the form of if you see over here, React dev links warning keys, right? So it's a kind of a warning also, but it's in a error format, right? Warning in the error format. So this is not actually an error. It will not affect your UI rendering, but it will affect your performance. Okay, this will affect your performance. So what it is trying to say is that React has a idea of keys, right? So whenever you have, you are rendering list like these, right? Whenever you're rendering list like this, so what happened? React says that please pass a key prop. Okay, you have to pass a key prop. Okay, and that is important. And in this key prop should be unique. So let's say I am taking key as a IDX. Right, I am taking key as IDX. Now, where this IDX is coming from? So this IDX is coming from here, right? So now, what I am doing over here, React says that whenever you are rendering a dynamic, dynamic things, right? Whenever using a map function, so each map function, right, for every iteration, for every element, right, that you are putting it inside the map function, right, there should be a unique key allocated with that particular element. Now, why this key is important? Why React says to add this key? Because see, if React make any changes, right, if you make any changes, right, if you delete a list item, if you add a list item, right, if you modify a list item, then if it's a list, right, React has to traverse each and every element. If we are not giving key, React has to traverse each and every element and has to find which element is getting modified, which element is getting deleted, which whatever changes that you made, React has to go to each and every element and has to ask that, okay, whether you are deleted. No, you are not deleted. So it will go to next element, whether you are deleted. No, it is not deleted. So it's a long process, it's a lengthy process. It has to iterate to each and every element, right? But when you give key over here, and if you delete this element, so React immediately comes to know that, okay, a element with this key has been deleted. Now React knows the actual location of that element, right? So it's like you have to find some person inside a colony, and what you will do that if you know the address of that person house, right, then you will immediately go to that house and you will find that person. But now let's say you don't have the address of that particular person, so what you will do, you will go to each and every house of that colony and you will see that, okay, if that person is available over here, the person is available over here or not, right? So that is the same. See, again, both the process is not wrong, right? Both the process is correct. Both processes are correct, right? But first process is a lengthy process. It is not performance efficient process. It's a performance heavy process, right? The second process where you have the address available with you, it's a optimized process, right? So that's the same concept of keys over here in the React. So whenever you are rendering any list item on any element using this map function, what you are going to do, you are going to give the keys to that element, and that key should be unique. And what React will do eventually, React will find that element by that key, and it's very easy for React to modify that particular element or delete that particular element or find that particular element, right? That is what the concept of keys are. And now see, since I have provided the key, so now see that error has also gone. Right now that error has also gone. Okay. So that is what the concept of list, rendering a list and keys in React is. And this is a very important concept from an interview's point of view. The interviewers ask about the concept of keys in React and why they are important, right? So this is the complete concept that you can explain to them. Okay. Okay, so now coming to the next topic is our, okay, so yeah, this is oh, this is exactly what we did, right? So earlier UL was like this, then we created an array and we put all the things over there, and then we rendered it using the map function, and that is exactly what we did. Okay, so yeah, and over here you can see the complete error message says that each child element should have a unique key over here, right? And it's a warning. See, I told you it's a warning that is being printed in an error format. Okay, so don't okay, yeah. So they have explained the complete concept. You can go and you can read the concept over here as well, but the concept I have told you is the same that you will see over here. Okay, so yeah, that is it for the list section, and let's go back and let's get back to the forms. Okay, so let's get back to the forms, right? So building a form in React. Okay, again, let's open docs, right? I'll make sure that we do everything via docs. Okay, so yeah, please do open docs for React forms. Okay, so here it is, React.js. Oh yeah, React.dev, right? So we'll go React.dev. So yeah, built-in browser forms component lets you to create interactive control for submitting an information. Okay, perfect. So see, let's say we have this form. Okay, let's say we have this form. Let me copy this form over here and let me paste it maybe here. Right, let's paste that form over here. Let's format this, and okay, so we have an action that is search. So that search action is missing. So where do we have that search action? Yeah, here is that search function. So I'll copy this search function, right? And we will paste it over. So now see, let me do it like this. Let me open the inspect element and let me go to the network tab, or yeah, network tab only, and see. So yeah, this is simple thing that is happening. So what is happening over here? See, it's always preferred to get the built-in form component, right? So this, you see, this is a form component whose action is to search, right? So now what we are defining a action over here, right? So this action can be a submit action, it can be a search app action, it can be like any action, right, that you want to do for that particular form. So you have to define that, okay, if this particular form is doing a searching, or this particular form is submitting some user details, or this particular form is doing what, right? So let me show it to you over here. Maybe we have more app actions listed. Yeah, see, action add to cart, right? Then we have action add product to cart or something like that, right? Then we have form whose action is action, right? Form whose action is action. So what is this? What is this? This is we have, okay, so maybe you can read about this. I'll not go in much detail over here, right? Then we have a form whose action is form action and ref. So it's a lot of things to study over here, right? You can go and study this part, but let me give you a brief ideation about the form. So see, what happens, it's not like if you are searching, if you are making a form to search, right, you have to write search over here. No, you can write abc as well. You can write abc, right? And you can create this function by the name abc. It's not like this search is important, or this add to cart is important, or add product to cart is important, or let's say submit is important. No, it's not like that, right? But it's just like, it's a good practice that, okay, if the form is created to search something, if it's a search field over there in this form, then we create a function by the similar name, so that if for the developers, that if you're working in a collaborative space, right, other developers would also know that, yes, if the form, if like what the name itself depicts about, what is the use case of that particular function or variable, or like whatever it is, right? So that is why this is important. Okay, so you can, if you want to give abc, you can give it. It's completely up to you, right? You can give it, no worries in that. Okay, now what happens, so what is a form, how you handle a form in React? See, if you see over here, see, this is the React's inbuilt form mechanism that we are using over here. So we are saying that, okay, we are using a form whose action is this search, right? So if you log, let me log this search data, right? Let me log this form data. Okay, let me log this form data. Okay, so let me show it to you how this form data actually looks like. Oh God, enter. Yeah, hello, do it. Okay. So do you see this form data is kind of a empty thing, right? This form data is kind of an empty object who has a prototype, and in that prototype we have a get method, right? We have a get method. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's see form data get. Let us print that. Okay. Form data dot get. Okay. It would be a function. Let me tell you, it would be a function. Let's see. Okay. So do you see it's a function? Right? It's a function. Okay, great. And let us call this function now. Okay, let us call this function. So it will print nothing for now, I guess. Hello. Yeah. So it's throwing an error because form data, one argument is required, but zero argument present. So as I told you, it will not show anything because this form data dot get requires an argument. Okay, and that argument is like whatever user is asking for. So if user is asking for some query or anything like that, so now how can you get info about this form data? So again, you can go over here, right? You can go over here now. In this form, let me show it to you. Action, right? If you see this action, so yeah, if you see this action is the URL, that process form submission, right? This value can be overridden by a form action attribute of a button, input type submit, input type image element. This attribute can be ignored when method is dialog. Okay, so see what happens is, देखो ये attribute जो है, right? ये attribute, this value can be overridden by form action attribute, right? So if you have two attributes, let's say one is action and the other one is form action. So this action, if you are mentioning action and form action both, right? So you, this action value will get override by this form action. Okay, now this attribute, now where this attribute can be, see, so if that form action attribute on button, अगर बटन की हम बात कर रहे हैं, अगर बटन पे कोई भी फॉर्म एक्शन नाम का आपने एट्रीब्यूट दिया हुआ है, तो आपका फॉर्म पे जो एक्शन एट्रीब्यूट होगा दैट विल गेट ओवरराइड, right? Input type submit, right? If you have an input type submit, right? If you have given a attribute of form action on input type submit, then your action attribute on the form tag will get override. Okay, if, same is for image element, right? So then we have encrypt, then we have method, no validate, target. So you can go over here and you can search for things. You can read about things, right? Again, I cannot cover each and everything over here in this video, right? So you have to go to the things and you have to study on your own as well, right? I can tell you like how things are working, but again, it is something that you have to go to these documentations and you have to study, and that is what I always say, that please refer documentations, right? For everything. Maybe let's do one thing. This is exactly what they are doing, right? This is exactly what they are doing. So if you go over here, where building a form, right? Handling form input. Okay, so how to handle a form input, right? Let me tell you how to handle form input. So let's say I'm not using this built-in search function, right? Let's say I'm not using this built-in search function. Instead, I'll create a form. I'll create a form. Let me remove this form action. Okay. Let me. Oh shit, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So let me remove this form from here. Right. Let us create a brand new form. Okay. And this form is form form, right? Now, this is a login form, let's say. So we have a input. Oh God, it's input input. Okay, whose type is email, right? Input whose type is email, and I don't want this. Instead, I want this. Okay. Then we have input whose type is password, and then we have let's say input whose type is submit, right? Let's go on the screen over here. Okay, so we have this in email, password, and perfect submit. So over here, let me type a placeholder. Placeholder is enter. Enter your email. Placeholder is enter your password. And yeah, and then we have a submit button. So do you see okay. So do you see over here it is suggesting something. Over here it is suggesting something. Input element should have a autocomplete attribute suggested current password. For more info, go over here. Let's see. Let's see. Use autocomplete attribute. Now, what this autocomplete attribute is doing? Autocomplete attribute helps password managers to infer the purpose of the field in the form, saving them from accidentally saving or autofilling the wrong data, right? A little annoying annotation can go long way. Some common values, something like that, right? So, in the username and current password, okay, the login form can and change the password form and the new password registration. See, so if you are creating any login page, okay, so this Chromium, right, this Chrome browser has is giving some suggestions. It is saying that whenever you are creating a login form or you are creating a change password, you should use some attributes like username and current password, right? Or while creating a registration form or a change password form, right? Change password mean you can use any, right? You can use current password or new password. You can use that, right? Because whenever you're changing some password, so you have two things. One is type your current password and then type your new password, right? So if you have a input field of type your current password, then you should use current password attribute. And if you have type of you can if you have a new password input field, then you should use new password, right? And while registration, you should always use new password, right? So for detailed write up, see this example. See, so this is login form. We have ID as a username. Okay, type text, name, username, autocomplete. See, autocomplete username, autocomplete current password, right? While creating a sign in flow, autocomplete username, right? Autocomplete current password. Okay, so that is how you can always better your thing. So while creating a sign up form, you can use autocomplete username, autocomplete new password. Okay, or you can create autocomplete username, autocomplete new password, and for password confirmation also you can create autocomplete new password. Okay, so these are few things that you should always refer to. See, okay, so let me do it. Let me do the same way. Let me do the same way. Autocomplete username. Okay, my bad. Username, and I will get a command T. I'll copy this username. I thought so. Copy this, paste it over here. Current password. Where is the current password? Here it is. So I'll copy this and paste it over here. Also, required. Put required. Right? Required is important because these fields are required, right? Without these fields, form should not get submit. Okay. For my documentation, yes. Okay, great. Now come over here, reload the page. Okay. Now do you see that now that error is not coming? Okay. Oh, autocomplete. Sorry, my bad. My bad. My bad. I have messed up with I have messed up with this. Paste it. Paste it. Yeah. Reload the page. Yeah. Now that error has gone. Okay. So over here, do you see yeah, it was already suggesting it that before as well, but again. So this is something that is how you can handle. Now let's say if you're typing something, okay, if you're typing something inside your input box, how will you capture it? How will you capture that particular thing, right? So let's make two more states. Const const username comma set username, which is equals to use state, and this is an empty string. Then we have password comma set password, password comma set password. It's again is an empty string. Okay, so I'll copy this input field on change, right? What I will do, I will pass a callback function over here, and I will do as a not set password but set username. Okay, so here I will do set username, right? Which is e dot target dot value, e dot target dot value. else कहाँ से आ गया? And where this e will come from? So this e will come from here, right? So now whenever you will change something, okay, so whenever you are changing, right, whenever you are changing, so this on change function gives you a event, and that event we are capturing inside this e, right? That event we are capturing inside this e, and that event has a target attribute, right? That event has a target key basically, and that target key contains the current element which is targeted, right? The current element which is targeted, it's inside this e dot target, right? And the value, whatever value is present inside this current element, right, that we are targeting, that value is present inside e dot target dot value. So whenever we are typing anything, whenever we are typing anything on your input fields, if we want to get that, right, and if we want to get that, so we'll use e dot target dot value. And now what I have to do now, whatever username I am typing inside this email, right, I have to set that username as this variable, as a value of this variable, right? I have to set that username as the value of this variable. So again, if we have to set any variable's value, we always use set, right? This state method, right? We always use the state method. So I'm using the set username over here to set whatever I am typing inside the input box, right? Same thing I'll do for my password, right? Same thing I'll do for my password. Okay, so for password I'll set password, right? Set password. Over here we have input type submit. So what I will do, on click, right? On click, I'll pass I'll pass E. Oh, sorry, my bad. I'll do E, and over here I'll call some function, right? I'll call a submit function. I'll call this submit function with this E, and let me create a submit function as well. So function submit, which is like this, and this takes a E over here. And first of all, I will do E dot prevent, prevent default, right? E dot prevent default. So my bad. Is it like this only? Wait. I have messed up, I guess, with few things. No, no. Okay, perfect. If I'm submitting this, yeah, I know it is a bit messed up. I guess D is capital, DEFA. D is capital if I'm not wrong. Prevent default. I guess that is the function. Yeah, D should be capital. Sorry, my bad. Yeah. So now we have prevent default, and what I will do, let us log username, comma, password. Okay, let us log this. Let's see. So if I type something, let's say ABC, right? Password is ABC. If I submit, so do you see we have ABC, ABC? Change my password and username. So do you see this is the password and this is the username? Okay. Now, so on submitting, what I can do? So whenever you are submitting some data, oh, sorry, my bad. Why I am always doing like on submitting some data, right? What we want? We want that there should be some checks, VALI, validation should be there, right? There should be some, uh, what else? There should be some, loading true, loading states should be there, right? And then whatever, right? So for validation, you would create another function, right? For validation, we should create another function. So function validation, right? And what this function will do? So this function will return true, right? This function is return true. And if username, right? If not username, right? Let's say it's a basic validation that I'm putting. If not username, then return false, right? If not username, then return false. Okay, very good. And if not password, then also return false. Then also return false, right? Okay. Now what I will do, I'll copy this and I will call this validation function, right? If this validation function gives me, so let's say if if not validation, right? If not validation, right, then I will do what? Let's say, let us give an alert, right? Let us give an alert that fix your error. Maybe fix your errors. Okay, fix your errors, right? Let's see this now. Okay, let's see this now. So let me reload the page and let us submit. So do you see we have fixed fix your errors? Why? Because email and password both were not present. So let's say now I have email and I'll try to submit. So see, fix your errors. Okay, cool. Also, let me do one thing. Let me do one thing. Let me do one thing. Rather than calling this submit function, right, over here, what I will do, I will call validate function, right? I will call this validate function over here, right? And not validate, actually validation, 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 right? I will call this validation function over here. We'll go to this validation function, we'll pass e. Now understand this thing very carefully, right? If username is not present, right, if username is not present, right, then I will call this submit function, right? I'll call this submit function. Okay. Oh, is it fine to call this submit function? No, actually, like, let's keep that one. Let's keep it like that. Okay, let's keep it like that. There should be validation function calling over here, but it would be a long process. So for now, let's keep it like this, fix your errors and all. Now let's say if my password is also there and this is also there, then what will happen? Then the form is submitted successfully. Right? Then there are no errors. Then there are no errors. Now for validation, you can add more checks. There are a lot of checks that you should add for validations, right? If for username, if you are taking an input as an email, right, there should be an email validation, there should be password validation, there should be a name validation, there should be phone number validation, there should be a uh, country code validation and stuff like that, right? So there are a lot of validation that you can put into that validation function, and for each and every validation you should show correct errors as well, right? Now fix your errors is a very generic statement which I have written over here, right? But when you work with the with development things, right, so you should always give a valid validation errors over here, right? So again, if you start doing things, when you start doing things on your own, you will come to know that okay, what all things to be done, how things are done. So this is a very very basic thing to start with, right? You can start with like this, and while making projects, you can grow and learn more. Okay. So now what we have, so yes, building a form is also done, right? Then React lifecycle, no. Let's create this mini project. Okay, let's create this mini project over here, right? So what we have this to do application. Okay, we have this to do application, right? So what this to do application does, what this to do application does, so this to do application is like, so if you have any you have to do three things over here. We have to add a new task, we should be able to add a new task, right? We should be able to delete a task, okay, and we should be able to toggle complete or incomplete task. Okay, so for this, the ideation is how we will make to do application. Let me comment this out. Oh, wait a minute. Let me comment all these things. Okay, let us comment all these things. Let me comment this as well, and let me comment this as well. Okay. Oh, what happened? What happened? What happened? What happened? Did I do anything wrong? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. Let me comment all these as well. Okay, I'll comment all these things. Okay. Let me create a new file by the name to do to do.jsx, right? RAFCE. Okay. So over here in this to do, let me call this to do here. Oh, sorry, my bad. To do. Okay. So we have this to do. Let me go over here, write something, and let us see if that is visible over here. Yes, that is visible over here. Never cool. Right. So now my to do app is visible to me. Great. Perfect. Now, see, what is the idea? How we will make this to do application? So let me show it to you that first. And this to do application is very important. In interviews, they ask this. Okay. So see, we have a first of all heading, then we have an input box, and what this input box will do, this input box is to take input of the new task. Okay, then we have a button. So whenever we click on this button, right, a new task will get added on your screen. Now see, so do we know how many tasks are going to added? No, we don't know, right? So whenever user is adding a new task, it should be a altogether dynamic list, right? It should be a dynamic list. So below this button, below this input box and button, there we will place a UL, right? And that UL will display the task. Okay, great, great. Let's do this. Let's do this first. Okay. So now we have an input box. First of all, we have a heading, H1 tag. We have a H1 tag which says to do app. Then we have a input whose type is text. Then we have a button, right, whose is add task, and on click of this we would be doing something. Now whenever someone is taking an interview in input, why interview I'm saying, enter your task here, right? And whenever you type some task on change, right, I will call this function, right, and do it like this. So let me create a array, right, const tasks, comma, set tasks, right, tsks tasks, which is equals to use state, and it's an empty array for me, right? It's an empty array from me for me, right? Also const task, comma, set task, or let's say a new task, comma, set new task, which is equals to use state, and here comes your empty string. Okay, so let me format this. Okay, so whenever somebody is doing on chain, so what I will do, I'll do a set new task as e dot target dot value, right? And I will pass a e from here. Okay, so now see, we have a task, right, which will contain all the tasks, and we have a input, or let's say we have a we have, in our case we have this new task. So whenever some user is typing anything, right, whenever some user is typing anything, what we are doing, we are setting it as a new task, right? Also, whenever somebody hits a add button, right, whenever somebody hits the add button, what we have to do, set tasks, right? Set tasks. Okay, tasks, right? Set task. I will call this set task function, and what I will do, see, this set task function already has few tasks, right? इसके पास already we have few tasks, and that task is in tasks array. So I will create a new array over here, and I will do it something like this: tasks, comma, new task, right? So what I am doing, I am setting this task as an array, right? And this array contains all the previous tasks, right? All the previous tasks that was present inside your tasks array, right? And we are destructuring it over here, and this new task is getting added, right? And once it is added, let us do one thing below this. Let us put a task dot map, right? We will map it, and for now let's simply return, right, let's simply return a li, right? Let's simply return a retur. Oh god, my bad, sorry. Yeah, yep, yeah. And we will wrap it inside a ul. Okay, so we will wrap it inside a ul. Great. For now, let's do one thing. Let's have ele over here, comma idx, and as I told you, key should always be there, right? We should always mention a key which is idx, and over here we should be having ele, right? And let's go over here, let's hit like this, hello, add task. Okay, See, this is not getting emptied, right? So whenever your add task is clicked, right? Whenever your add task is clicked, right? If this button is clicked, what we have to do? We have to set new task as an empty string, right? We have to set new task as an empty string. Okay, let's reload. So hello. Okay. Now that task is getting emptied, but its value is not getting emptied, right? The new task, this new task is getting emptied over here, but its value, the value of input box is not getting emptied because we have not set its value, right? So let's set its value first. So value, right, which is equals to new task. Okay. Now if new, now see what will happen. Reload. Hello. See. Hi. See, bye bye. See, right? So now things are getting added, right? Now, corresponding to each task, right? Corresponding to each task, we have to give few things. Now, what all things we have to give? See, as I told you, add a new task is done. In to do application, what we have to do, we have to add a new task, right? We have to delete a task and we have to toggle a task as completed or incompleted, right? So let us give two buttons, right? Corresponding to every key, right? Corresponding to every key, what we have, corresponding to every li, what we have, let's take a span. So span, okay, and we'll duplicate this span. So I'll cut it from here, paste it over here. Here comes my button. No, actually this should not be a span, this should be a button, right, which says delete, delete. Okay, here also it should be a button, right, which says completed, right? So let me format this for now. Format documentation. Let's go over here. So do you see delete and completed, right? Delete and completed. So once I hit delete button, right? Once I hit delete button, what should be there? See, if I'm deleting, so that particular element should get deleted, right? That particular element should get deleted from this list. How will you do it? How will you do it? Okay. So see, each and every element, right? Each and every element has a, if you go over here to see, here we have a key, which is IDX, which is great. This is text and this is button. Now see, whenever you have to delete a task, how will you do it? Each and every, first of all, we use a filter function. That is for sure, right? Now, in the filter function, what filter function does, understand this thing very carefully. This task, right? This task has a unique thing which is index, right? This task has a unique thing which is index, right? And over here as well, let's say, let me add a filter, right? So let's make a delete function. Okay, let's make a delete function. So on click, I'll create it over here only. Click. Okay, format. Yeah, on click of this function, what will happen? See, tasks filter, right? I have to filter few things. And what filter has? Filter also has two things. One is ele comma idx, right? Now, what it has to return? It has to return ele, right? Which is not equals to. He has to return all the elements whose ele. Understand this thing. यहाँ पे इस एलिमेंट का जो इंडेक्स है, राइट, इस एलिमेंट का जो इंडेक्स है, राइट, index of this particular element should not be equals to the index, should not be equals to this particular element. मतलब सी अगेन देखो ना, यहाँ पे क्या है, यहाँ पे मुझे क्या करना है, देखो, वी हैव टू डिलीट टास्क. अब व्हेन वी आर डिलीटिंग दिस टास्क, वी आर पासिंग अ इंडेक्स, right? So we are, if when we are passing the index, it means, so if this idx that I'm taking over here, right, so I'll copy this and I'll pass it over here, right? So now whenever I'm clicking on this button, right, whenever I'm clicking on this button, I know that which index is clicked over here, right? Which index is clicked over here. So I'll say index over here for your reference. So if index is not equals to idx, right? If index is not equals to idx, then I have to return that element, right? If index is not equals to idx, then I have to return that element. So let's say delete this. Oh, reload karte hain ek baar. Let's reload for once. Okay, okay. Oh, why it is not getting clicked? Function click क्यों नहीं हो रहा भाई? Click का ही नहीं हो रहा. Why this function is not getting click? Delete button. On click. IDX. Log. Let us log something. I guess something is happening. Function is getting click, I guess. Yeah, function is getting click, but task dot filter yearly return भी लगाया है मैंने. अच्छा, my bad. See, मुझे इसमें ये तो बताना पड़ेगा ना what I have to return. Right, what I have to return, I have to tell this, right? So यहाँ से I will return yearly, that is for sure, right? I have to return yearly. अब कौन से yearly return करने हैं? ऐसे element मुझे return करने हैं. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have to return all those types of element जिनका index, right? Yearly with this index should not be equal to this IDX, right? I have to return those elements, है ना? So I guess no, that was the correct. That was correct, right? And let us see what mistake I'm making. Okay, okay. Maybe const updated, my bad, updated task list is equals to this, right? And I'll copy this and sorry, my dear friends, set task is equals to updated task list. Now let's see क्या हो रहा है भाई? What is happening? Hello. Do it like this. There is some mistake which I'm making. What is the mistake? What is the mistake? क्या mistake हो रही है यार? बहुत छोटी सी कोई गलती है यार. Yearly. Okay यार. Sorry. My bad. My bad. It will return, right? It will return a function, I guess. It will, क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं? Control Z. Yeah. Okay. It will return a function, right? I will return a function, right? Where it comes yearly. है ना? मतलब मैं क्या गलती कर रहा हूँ? सॉरी, माय बैड. वेट, लेट मी सी. नहीं यार, सही तो है. क्या इशू हो रहा है? व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? दिस इज ओके ना? दिस इज फाइन. व्हाट इज द प्रॉब्लम? लेट्स लॉग updated task list over here for once. Let us see here. Who is calling me again and again? Sorry. क्यों? Why? What is the problem? Hmm. Wait. Let us print this. Wait. Let us print idx comma index. Let us do it. Wait, I don't know what is happening. Okay, 0 and oh, got it. See, so problem is over here that here this idx, right? This idx that we are getting over here is a what? Is a complete event. It's actually e. Oh my god. Sorry. It is completely my fault. It's my bad. I should not actually get IDX over here. Now it's fine. Now it will get deleted. Sorry guys. Sorry, my bad. Actually, I should, of course, this IDX that we are taking over here is this IDX. Okay, it should not be this ID. I have unnecessarily passed IDX over here. Oh God. Sorry. My bad. So it was an event. It was not IDX. So that's what was happening. Okay. So let me, and that's how console logs can help you with. Okay. So reload. Let me format this documentation. Format this file. Go over here. Hello at task. Hi at task. Tata at task. If you want to delete this. Fine. Sorry, just a single mistake. That on click function. So over here, if I'm writing anything, right, it will give you a complete event, as I told you earlier, right? This will give you a complete event, then target, then value set. It was that event I was getting over here. Instead I should use this idx, right? Instead of uh typing it over here. So that was a mistake that I did, unfortunately. Okay, so yes, this is done. Now what we have to do is your this thing, or what we say, s- completed, right? Mark as complete wala part, right? So when we have to do mark as complete wala part, see what we would be doing. So for a particular what I can say, task that we have completed, we have to, if mark it as a completed, what we will do, we will put a strike through. Okay, in front of, in this element we will put a strike through, that okay, if the task is completed, it will be visible as a strike through. Okay, let's do it. To see, to do this, we should have a flag, right? Whether my task is completed or not completed. Now, to add that flag, what I would do, see, so see, whenever we are adding any task, right? Whenever we are adding any task, with this task, we should have a flag. With this task, we should have a flag. So let me convert this into an object, and I would say text, which is equals to this, right? Text is equals to this, right? And comma completed, which is equals to false for now, right? So every time I'm adding a new task, okay, every time I'm adding a new task, I'm adding it is in an object format. So over here also, we should type ele dot text, right? So ele dot text, ele dot text should be here. Let's see now. Go over here, reload the page. So hello, it's getting added. Yes, it is getting added. Hi, is it getting added? Yes, delete, working fine. But now what is the difference? So what is the difference that happened over here? So let us log tasks. Let us log tasks over here. So hi, Tata. So do you see, now we have an object that hi is there, and is your hi completed or incompleted? So I'll say yes, my hi is incompleted for now, right? Right. So, once I click on completed, right, what should happen? This flag should get to, true, right? That this flag should say that yes, it is completed. Okay. So what happens now? How will I do it? How will I do it? So over here, on click of this button, right? Whenever I'm clicking on this button, on click, right, on click of this button, what I will do? See, I'll take a const new task array, right, which is equals to existing co, I will do dot tasks. Okay, so I have created a copy of new task array. Now what I'm doing, understand this thing very carefully. New task array dot idx, matlab idx, right? Whatever element is present over here, right, should be dot idx, sorry, new task array idx dot completed should be equals to not new task array idx dot completed, right? So what I'm doing, I'm negating, right? I'm negating this thing, right? And now let us log this new task array. Let's see for now. Let's see for now. Let's reload. Okay. Hello, it's getting printed. Hi, it's getting printed. Tata is getting printed. Bye bye is getting printed. Right? Perfect. Perfect. So if you see over here, oh, let me delete this. So now if I mark completed, so now we have this array. So do you see hello completed is marked as true, right? Let me clear this all. Now let me mark this Tata as completed. So do you see over here, this Tata is marked as completed true, right? If I again click it, so do you see it is now marked as false? If I again click on this hello, it is again marked as false, right? So this is how we can toggle, right? This is how we are toggling the things, okay? And now if I say over here, I'll add a condition over here. I'll add a condition over here. So if see what condition I want, what condition I want, ki if the element that we are choosing, if that element is completed, right? If the status of that element is completed, right? then what we will do, then we will simply write undo over here, right? And if it is not completed, then we will write completed over here, right? Let's do this. It's a very simple check again. So ele dot completed, right? If it is there, if ele dot completed is there, then I will say undo. Then I'll say undo, right? And if not completed, if el is not completed, then I'll say completed. Okay. Let me remove this. I guess we did this, right? So what happened? Oh, sorry. My bad. I'm doing very fuck ups today. I don't know why. Okay, so now let me clear this. Completed. Reload. Hello. Array. What happened? Okay. Oh, sorry. My bad. So set array. So set new task. I have to set new task with this array. Copy this, paste it, and now it will work. Now it should work. Yeah, see, undo completed, undo completed, right? And also over here in my ELE, what I will do in my ELE, I'll add a styling over here, right? I'll add a style over here. So if ELE dot completed, right? If ELE dot completed is there, then this will happen, and else this will happen, right? So if ELE dot completed is there, then text decoration is strike through, right? Else nothing. Let's see. Hello. Add it. Oh, what happened? What happened? Strike through. Else. Oh, let's say if color. Let's say color is red. Color is red. Else my color is black. Black. Right? Let's say. See? Okay. Reload this button. Yeah, and now over here, what mistake I am doing is I should be setting it as an empty string. Okay, it's happening. So hello, hi, Tata, uncompleted. So yeah, it's done. It's happening. Now, whatever decoration you have to give in the styling, you can give it like that, right? So if ELE is marked as completed, then color is red, else color is black. If you want to give strike through, text decoration works. I don't know why it was not. It's like I'm messing up a lot today, so you can try it on your own. It should work, right? What is that? Let me see it. Don't worry. Let me see. Text decoration is only there now. Yeah, text decoration is there. I don't know. Line through and none. I don't know why it's not working. Text decoration. A line through. It's line through. It's not strike through. Sorry, my bad. It's line through. Let's give it a comma text decoration, which is line through, right? And over here, I'll say text decoration, which is none, right? Let's see it now. Yeah, now it's worked. Right. Perfect, right? So yes, I guess that was it for this video as well. And now our 3 days bootcamp is done. I hope you have learned a lot of things in these 3 days. Please do comment in the below section. How do you like these videos? If it is okay, not okay. What else do you want us to take up for you? JavaScript, HTML, CSS, whatever it is, right? So we'll take up the next time that thing. So I guess that's it for this video. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care and good night.